Good morning, everyone. This is Jesse McMullen with the Lake Houston Home Advisors, coming live from RadioKair in Humble, Texas. I'm here with Wesley Brice, the man, the myth, the legend, and one of my best friends. Wesley is the general manager of Sargon Roofing and Restoration, my roofing company, and he's here to drop some great knowledge for y'all. Wesley, why don't you introduce yourself, tell everyone who you are, what you're about, and give a little bit about Sargon, please.
All right. Good morning, everyone. I'm Wesley Brice. I'm the general manager of Sargon Roofing and Restoration. Kind of started this from the ground up with Jesse, side by side. Little bit about me. I'm 35 years old. I do live in the area, live in Humboldt. Our office is in Kingwood. My whole career has been in construction since 18 years old, even as a teenager, but primarily roofing and restoration, dealing with insurance claims, a lot of residential and some commercial. And I've been in the industry in some form or fashion for a very long time. And obviously you called me one day with a business plan, and we put that plan into effect. And here we are with Sargon Roofing and Restoration, almost 3 years into it. One thing I always get asked, working with Sargon, and our company name is a little bit unique. And so just for the listeners to know, like, what is Sargon, or what does it mean? And I'll kind of let you come tell them the name Sargon so that everybody kind of knows.
Yeah, so Sargon is the king of Akkad. It was the first emperor, basically, the first ruler. So he was the true king of Akkad, so we changed it to True Kings of Roofing. And we like the name because it's different, and it's hard to forget.
It really is, and that's kind of what I found talking to all customers, and even with our marketing, is the name isn't the last name. It's not Brice or McMullen or your standard A and B or K and J or whatever. It does have meaning behind it, and we do want to set an example in the community and live up to the name. So when we say we are the True Kings of Roofing, we actually do take that to heart, which is kind of cool, and making our presence be known. So when you called me, it was 3 years ago, and you said, hey, you were wanting to dive into this business, and I do kind of want everybody to know how we initially met, and I'll kind of also let you tell everybody how we initially met, and then I'll kind of go from there.
Yeah, so Wesley actually knocked my door about 7 years ago after a hailstorm. It wasn't him, it was his one of his sales reps for a company that he had knocked my door, and they built my roof, got it approved by insurance, and they did a bang-up job. And we had a leak, not from his roof, from something else on our house. We thought it was the roof, and we called him back, and he was right there. He was very quick to respond, and I was also flipping some houses and had needed some roofing advice, and Wesley went and did those inspections. I believe it was like in the middle of a rainstorm one day, yeah, and I just realized, like, man, this guy's really on top of his game. I'd like to work with him in some capacity. And here we are now, actually working together in a huge capacity.
Right, and it really has been a true blessing to see us go from just me and you, and what Sargon is creating a brand and creating a recognition in the community. What my goal is to have a name that people can trust with construction on their home or their business, not just a company just trying to win a bid and take your money and never see you again.
Yeah, that's funny. I was just talking, I just did a Meet the Merchant segment with John Ramoyne, and he was talking about that, and I brought up a point. I said, we do have a brick and mortar. We're not going anywhere. We have a lease. If you want to find Wesley or I in the community, we're not hard to reach. You could find us through one or two people. So it's not like a company that's just going to disappear overnight. We're very entrenched in this community. We're very much a part of this community, and we have an office that you can come visit, see, talk to us anytime you need, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5.
Absolutely, and that's really the overall, what I love about my job is being part of a community. And instead of, in my past, I've working in natural disasters and construction, I've traveled a lot. I've went places helping people and homeowners. When at the end of the day now, I do have a daughter, I have my family established, I live here now, and I really just wanted to make Humboldt, Kingwood, Atascocita my home. And what we have developed is a company that we will not travel, and we don't have to travel, because there's plenty of work that needs to be done here, and there really aren't a whole lot of good contractors what I see in the industry, a lot of times homeowners get referred by somebody, and maybe one contractor will do something good on one person's house, but then the trickle effect the next time it's not as good, and the next time. And what we try to do is treat every single customer like it is our house and keep our network referring us. And that is kind of funny. Right before we started the show, we actually just got a phone call from a customer, Vicky, and we always are asking, how did you hear? And what do you know? It's from a prior customer we've done good work on, and we will treat her the same.
Yeah, well, one of my biggest flexes, I feel like, is that we don't really knock doors anymore, and that's just it's a good feeling. We're basically a referral-based company, and you don't make a referral-based company without doing good work, in my opinion. 100%.
We do have guys, and if you do see somebody from Sargon knocking on your door, don't be offended. It is still part of how we get work, but we don't have to. We will target certain areas if we already have work, and just kind of, we're not there to, I don't consider us a company that sells anything. We really are educators and consultants, and we just basically educate a client on a problem they have and offer a solution. And that's one thing that I think that where we set ourselves apart is educating. Whether it's an insurance claim, whether it's options for your roof, options for your siding, what type of different roofing components, different size gutters, and different. There's so many things that homeowners aren't really told when they call a contractor for an estimate. They just show up with one price, one estimate, and that's it. Whereas we take a slower approach, educating on the products, on the install, and then come up with a multiple different options for whatever fits that client financially and just logically for their house.
Yeah, absolutely. We can kind of curate your roof however you want. It's a la carte. So
Right.
how do you want to build this? Do you want to go cheap, or do you want to go expensive and long term? I mean, there's two ways to build a roof, and we can do both.
Yeah, and that very good point. That, I for a long time was never even offered or considered the cheap, but then you lose out on a big market, because at the end of the day, there are a lot of investors, there are a lot of rent houses, there are a lot of people with coming out of pocket and not paying insurance. So one thing we strive on is those options where we do have typically a good, a better, and a best, sometimes even above that. Just so we can specifically target that client and formulate the package that suits them best.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're going to take a quick break to hear from our sponsors. When we come back, we're going to have Wesley, Brice, and I talking about all things Sargon, roofing, and restoration. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. From the foundation to the shingles and everything in between, we're back on Lake Houston Home Advisors, RadioKair, with Wesley, Brice, and Jesse McMullen. So Wesley, we just got done kind of hearing the history of Sargon and what we're about. You've brought up a couple times different types of estimates and different packages. Why don't we touch on those a little bit and let the homeowners know what we're kind of speaking about there when we talk about that?
Absolutely. So when it comes to roofing, I always say not all roofs are equal. Products are not all the same. What you will typically find on your Home Depot and your Lowe's shelves are your builder grade products. So at first, I just kind of would go over the basic builder grade roof, which is your standard composition shingle with a asphalt 15-pound felt. 99.9% of the time, that roof is going to be nail gun installed, and just your generic baseline products, kind of like if you go to Walmart and buy a shirt, if you were to go to Dillard's. Well, our good package is kind of the Walmart, which is our builder grade. Nothing wrong with that. However, there are some things about a lesser product which are going to affect the roof's lifespan. So that being the wind warranty, the algae protection, and all the bells and whistles you kind of don't get with the base package. Even our workmanship warranty is less than it would be if we hand nailed the roof with our above packages, specifically because hand nailing is a safer and just a more appropriate method to correctly install a roof that will not have any issues.
Why is that? Let's touch on hand nailing versus nail gun a little bit and give the homeowners some knowledge on why it's a better roof.
So a lot of houses you see, especially the builders and even re-roofs, you're going to hear tat, 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 and you're hearing these nail guns flying. And there's a couple reasons why nail gunning isn't the best thing. For one, you have multiple multiple nail guns on one compressor. So when one person stops nailing, you have all the pressure going to the other guns and not one. So there's an imbalance of pressure. It is very difficult to properly regulate the pressure of nail guns with multiple lines. So what ends up happening is you have too much pressure on one gun, forcing the nail through the shingle. And instead of properly and flushly fastening it, you've overshot the nail and it's through halfway through the shingle. And that is going to create wind lift. It's just not properly seated.
If you want to see an example of an overdriven nail, go out and look at your fence right now. That's a good way to see it.
Yeah, perfect example. If you look at your standard cedar fence, even the screws or nails, you're going to see that they've embedded into the wood. 9 out of 10 of them will, instead of being flush. That is because of the pressure. So if you take that same concept and apply it to a shingle, it is literally the same thing. When you hand nail a roof, you have your placement of the nail is by hand, so you know exactly where you're locating that nail. Shingles are not meant to be nailed in multiple areas. There is a one thin line. You need to hit that nail zone. When you have a nail gun that weighs 5-6 pounds and you're moving really fast and you're on a steep roof, it is very easy to misalign those nails and nail in the wrong spot. So your two things are you have improper nail placement and overdriven nails, which will create roof issues. The real way to avoid that is to hand nail your roof. Now, a lot of people think when they say hand nail, well, that must be a lot more money, and it's relatively not expensive at all. Our crews for hand nailing do make more money because it is more of a skilled job. It is a skilled trade. However, the cost from nail gunning to hand nailing your roof is average only about $500 difference.
And boy, the peace of mind. I know, I'll say with Sargon, we give a 10-year warranty if you have the best package. So that's a labor warranty. That's hand nailed with a class 3 to 4 impact resistant shingle. And I mean, just the peace of mind, $500 for 10 years of warranty seems like a no-brainer to me.
Right. The value, we are presenting the value, and you said, right. So we have our base package, builder grade. Our better package, which is our mid-level package, is hand nailed. And it is not a builder grade. It is a CertainTeed Landmark or an Owens Corning duration shingle that is not builder grade. What that means is it's heavier. So generally anything heavier on your roof is going to last longer. It has a better wind rating, and it also, at the end of the day, guys, let's be honest, the higher end, the better the shingle you put on, the better the color is. The shingles, the builder grade shingle colors aren't the greatest. The better shingles have more vibrant colors and just more curb appeal.
So tell the homeowners, do we install 20-year shingles or 25-year shingles?
So those are what are considered 3-tab shingles, and I don't touch on those too much, but there are builders that build roofs with 3-tab. And the reality is those wind ratings are only for 70 miles an hour. You basically have no wind warranty.
Especially not in Houston, Texas.
We will not install a 3-tab roof because, one, we know that it's going to have issues in a couple years. But furthermore, we also, as contractors, are honest and know the difference in the price, which I encourage homeowners. You do your due diligence, and you can always look at the prices yourself. You can go to Home Depot and Lowe's and look at the difference from a 3-tab to a 30-year and realize, wow, it's only $10 a square difference. Well, that accounts to about $300 or $400 on the cost of your roof from a 3-tab to a 30-year.
Why don't you tell these homeowners what a square is? That might be confusing to them.
Yeah, so a square is 10 foot by 10 foot, which is 100 square feet. So as a roofer, I'm going to throw out the term square way more often than anything else because it is just our most commonly used terminology. But a square is 10 foot by 10 foot, and to put that in the listener's eyesight, just think of a standard 10 by 10 bedroom, and that a square is the floor area of that. So the average roof is about 40 squares. There are definitely smaller and there are very large homes, especially here in Kingwood, but the average size roof is going to be typically 4,000 square feet or 40 squares.
So we've talked a lot about shingles. What other types of roofing products do we install?
Well, there's several, and when it comes to roofing and membranes, and I think we'll probably need a whole segment to talk about that, but what I will we'll touch on really quick is as far as we'll stick with shingles. We went over our builder grade and our better. We do also have our best, which is a hail impact resistant shingle. That shingle is where you get the value out of lowering your insurance premiums and a peace of mind that when it hails, you will be covered and there will be no damage to your roof. Hailstorms are becoming more and more common in our area. So our best package does fit a lot of homeowners' needs, particularly when it's an insurance claim.
We try to give that money back, so we try to put a better shingle on.
Yeah, thank you for catching me on that.
Yeah.
If it's an insurance claim, we can usually show more value in upgrading a homeowner. It is situational, but that is what we try to do. So you have your good, your better, your best. Just a very quick recap. Your good is a nail-gunned, standard builder grade 30-year shingle, similar to what you'll find on the Lowe's or Home Depot shelves. Our better is a hand-nailed, certainteed Landmark or Owens Corning. Better product, better warranty, better wind, better algae, and then that's hand nailed with a 5-year warranty. And then our best package is an impact rated product with an attic breeze ventilation. We might touch up on that as well. Hand nailed with a 10-year warranty. Those are our 3 ideal packages for shingled roofs.
Yes, sir. Thank you for that information. We will definitely touch on attic ventilation when we come back. We just have to take a short break to hear from our sponsors. Give us a minute and we'll be right back. Stay tuned. Of the shingles and everything in between. We're back on Lake Houston Home Advisors, RadioKair with Wesley Brice and your host, Jesse McMullen, Sargon Roofing and Restoration. So, Wesley, we were just touching on all 3 packages. We've talked about the history of Sargon. Let's move into talking about other roofing components such as ventilation, attic breezes, and how we add value there.
Perfect. So there's roofs aren't just shingles and felt. There's many other factors and components to a roof, and the most overlooked aspect of a roof and not done properly from day one is the ventilation of roofing. Particularly with our heat here in Texas and the Houston area, our heat is insane during the summer.
Especially after this summer.
And especially after this summer. Everybody, y'all saw your electric bills, and our goal is to properly ventilate any roof that we install. So 9 times out of 10, the ventilation is going to be improper or inadequate enough for the attic space of a house. So our first goal is to get the area of an attic and calculate what ventilation it needs and what are the best options. Sometimes that can be simple as air vents or wind turbines. Other times it can be ridge vent if you have adequate soffit intake. And then sometimes the best option is what I love to install, and what Sargon is, we're really big on it, are these solar attic fans. Attic Breeze are made in Texas. Y'all can look it up, atticbreeze.com. But these are Texas-made lifetime products that will replenish the hot air in your attic, typically 9 to 10 times, lowering the temperature in your attic about 20 to 30 degrees, and just making overall your whole house a little bit more efficient, less strain on your AC. And there's some other benefits that I know that you can touch on too.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Attic Breeze is a no-brainer. First of all, you get a 35% federal tax credit with it, which is phenomenal, and that's on the labor and install. So, I mean, it's not free, but it's pretty darn close. And it doesn't work during night. It's solar powered, so it only works when you need it. I mean, and it's a product that we stand by, I would say 100%.
100%.
Yeah.
Now, one thing about Attic Breeze, there are companies, that will go and say, oh, well, we can put an Attic Breeze on. But what we actually do is make sure to send the diagram to Attic Breeze, put the proper location, and make sure that the install is done correctly, where we're not mixing other types of ventilation. You can add 10 Attic Breezes on your house, but if you're adding it in conjunction with ridge vent or something else, all you're doing is creating a vacuum. So it's very important to properly educate our customers on what needs to be done there.
Yeah, it's not as simple as just cutting a hole in the decking and slapping that on. There's some science behind it. So
absolutely not. And we are one of the preferred contractors for Attic Breeze, which is a good thing. And you made a great point on the tax write-off. At the end of the day, an Attic Breeze might cost you $1,500, but when you get a tax write-off for almost that same amount, and the money that you're saving, it literally can pay for itself within the first year or two. And that's not even accounting for the strain that it's taking off on your AC. Your ducts are staying cooler in the attic. So I do encourage homeowners that have particularly two-story homes, when you notice those upstairs rooms or a trap downstairs are getting extra hot and it just doesn't seem to cool off that one room in the house, that is typically your best sign that an attic breeze is going to be able to help you out.
Yeah, so one way I like to kind of explain that to homeowners is all your duct work for your AC runs right through the attic. And attics are getting up to 200 degrees in the Texas heat. Imagine trying to cool air going through a aluminum duct and it's in 200 degree attic. It takes a lot more effort from your AC unit, a lot more. It's a lot harder to cool it down. Yeah, a lot more energy to cool it down. So those attic breezes are getting attics to 10 to 20 degrees above ambient temperature outside, which is just phenomenal.
And even your insulation is able to actually function better when it's 20. The cooler the temperature, the better, the more energy efficient in the summer your house is going to be. And that's what the goal of ventilating your roof properly is. Some homeowners are, they're going to put a roof on and they're going to rent the house out. Well, obviously they're probably not going to put an attic breeze, but we're still going to take the extra effort to put enough vents, enough ridge vent to properly ventilate it. And there are some other components of roofs, which are pipe jacks. Most of your builder grade, you see it all the time, Jesse. We get calls to a leak because a pipe jack is leaking. Well, that's simply because the builder used a plastic pipe jack. That product is going to last maybe 10 years. Yep. So these builders are putting on products that aren't going to last the life of the roof. You're going to have issues before. So we actually use an IPS galvanized pipe jack. We tend to stay away from lead because squirrels sharpen their teeth on lead, and we know Kingwood's full of squirrels.
Yes, sure.
So we typically are not going to put products on that aren't going to last the lifetime of the roof. And which brings me to one more key note is where Sargon stands out is we replace everything. Even you have your furnace and your hot water heater stacks that come and ventilate through your roof. 9 out of 10 roofing companies, when they change your roof, are going to reuse the caps, the collars, and the base jacks. Sargon Roofing prides ourselves on changing everything out, and that just ensures us that your roof was not going to have any issues for that 10-year warranty that we give you.
So we've talked a lot about replacements, and when you brought those pipe jacks up, it gave me a good thought. We also do a lot of repairs, especially on those pipe jacks, and they can be pretty cost affordable, to be honest with you. But it's something that unless you're getting your roof inspected, you don't know what's going on up there. And trust me when I tell you that these pipe jacks go out all the time, and people will start getting a little spot on their ceiling and get it bigger, and bigger. So Wesley, how often should roofs be inspected, and touch a little bit on repairs and what we do there?
So, great question. I like to think of a roof just like a car. Your car has to have its oil and its fluids changed in order for it to operate for the full length of time. If you don't change the oil in your car, it's going to be ruined. If you don't do any maintenance to your roof, it's going to have issues. So, I do recommend at minimum every 2 years. Every 2 years, and this is a simple maintenance as far as just caulking your exposed fasteners, re-nailing and securing your flashings, painting, keeping the metal freshly painted. These are simple maintenance tune-up repairs that we do relatively cheap. $300. We'll come out there and do a little tune-up on your roof, and that will actually buy you an extra 10 years sometimes if you keep doing it. Mm-hmm. If you don't, it can cost you thousands of dollars. Yep. So there are, we also do small repairs, like you mentioned. We are a company that doesn't shy away. If somebody needs something very small and it's just something basic, we will send out one of our technicians. They will go ahead and replace it. And most of the time we do it at cost for them, just to give them peace of mind and build that relationship. Because at the end of the day, that's what Sargon is we are in the community. We want people to trust us if it's a small thing or a large loss, to whatever their needs are, and that they can call us. And 99 out of 100 times, when we take those small repair calls, we always still come through and get it done and don't leave the homeowner having to call multiple people. And that's because of the relationships that we've built throughout the community.
Yep, pipe jacks and chimney caps. We do a lot of those.
Yeah, lots of those.
We have to take a quick moment from our sponsors. We'll be right back to talk all things roofing with Wesley Brice and Jesse McMullen from Sargon Roofing and Restoration.